This is OwlUp, where learning happens in minutes, not hours. For a deeper journey, explore all our courses at owlup.co. Now, let's dive in. Welcome back to Chapter 2 of our series, Building Your First AI Chatbot with ChatGPT. In this episode, titled Setting Up Your Development Environment, we're going to walk you through the essential steps to create a solid foundation for your AI projects. So, whether you're a seasoned coder or just starting out, you'll be ready to dive into the world of chatbot development. Let's get started. Your first line of code with an AI model probably won't fail because the model is too smart. It'll fail because your laptop can't find Python or your API key. In this episode, we'll explore why your setup quietly decides whether your AI project ever leaves the ground. Before we write a single line that talks to ChatGPT, we need to decide where that line will live. A solid environment for this kind of work quietly rests on 4 pillars: a language runtime that won't vanish with the next update, a way to keep each project's libraries from colliding, a safe home for your secrets, and tools that actually help you think instead of getting in your way. This isn't about installing everything everywhere. It's about a small, dependable stack you can recreate on any machine. The same version of your language, the same set of packages, the same configuration. That consistency is what lets you move from a quick experiment on your laptop to a shared repo or a production server without nasty surprises. We'll also look at how cloud notebooks, containers, and modern editors can speed you up, without becoming crutches that keep you from owning your own setup. Think of this as choosing your home court for working with ChatGPT, where you run experiments, where you keep serious work, and how you move smoothly between the two. On one side, you've got the quick, disposable spaces where you try ideas, break things, and throw them away. On the other, you've got a durable, named place for code you care about. In practice, that means deciding which machine you trust, how you separate client work from personal tinkering, and what minimum set of tools must be present before you call a place ready for real development. The first real fork in the road is where you let your code actually run, close to your fingertips on a personal machine, or somewhere out there on a hosted service. Both are useful, but they serve different instincts. Locally, you control the tempo. You can work offline on a train, pin exact tool versions, and inspect anything that misbehaves. This is where you'll feel performance differences the most: how quickly tests run, how fast logs appear, how easy it is to peek inside a failing request. It's also where security defaults to your habits, good or bad. A shared laptop, a cluttered desktop, and casual file sharing quietly increase the blast radius of any mistake. Hosted environments pull in the opposite direction. They invite you to move faster with pre-installed packages, one-click sharing, and good enough defaults. They're superb for exploratory spikes, pairing sessions, and teaching. The trade-off is subtle. You inherit someone else's choices about where code lives, how long machines stay warm, and what happens when a dependency disappears. In practice, serious teams blend the two. They sketch ideas in disposable spaces, but commit anything they care about to a replicable setup they can rebuild on a fresh machine in under an hour. Your goal is the same: a path from interesting experiment in a browser tab to trusted code with a history that you can walk without friction. One way to approach this is to treat your local machine like a well-marked trail system. Each project gets its own clearly named path, its own logbook, and its own weather notes. You decide which trails are temporary detours and which become routes you'd be comfortable recommending to someone else. As you add tools, resist the urge to grab every shiny plugin. Start with a minimal set that you can explain to your future self: what it does, how it's configured, and how you'd remove it if it caused trouble. Layers you don't understand become hidden rules you'll be forced to obey later. Over time, the mark of a solid environment isn't that it's fancy, it's that nothing about it feels mysterious. Think about 3 concrete home courts you might set up. First, a quick scratch space. A single folder where you allow chaos. throwaway scripts, half-baked prompts, experiments that might never run again. You don't polish here, you just move fast and capture ideas before they evaporate. Second, a studio space. One folder per serious project, each with its own isolated dependencies, and a short README that explains what lives there and how to run it. Many solo developers keep these mirrored to a private Git repository, so a lost laptop doesn't equal lost work. Third, a shared space. A repo you'd be comfortable inviting a collaborator into on day one. Here you add tiny touches that future you or a teammate will silently thank you for. A sample config file instead of real credentials. A script that boots everything with one command. A minimal test that proves the model call still works. As you move ideas from scratch to studio to shared, you're quietly curating which experiments deserve a longer life. In a year or two, the most productive teams won't obsess over a single perfect stack. They'll treat environments like a palette and swap setups as easily as colors. You might sketch an idea with a tiny local model, refine behavior in a regulated cloud workspace, then replay the whole conversation trace in an IDE panel to debug a weird edge case. Logs, prompts, and configs will travel together, more like a passport than a pile of boarding passes. Your challenge this week: create one Scratch folder and one Studio folder, and move a single experiment from the first to the second, documenting only what future you would genuinely need. Treat this first environment as a sketchbook, not a monument. Let it change as you notice what actually slows you down. Waiting on installs, shaky network, opaque errors. As you tune those rough edges, you're really tuning your attention. The more frictions you remove, the more of your day shifts from wrestling setup to exploring ideas. Before next week, ask yourself, if I had to reinstall my machine from scratch tonight, what exact steps, tools, and configs, editors, terminal setup, package managers, Docker, linters, test runners, would I need, and where are they documented so future me isn't guessing? What's one friction point I hit almost every day? Slow test runs, awkward Git workflow, confusing logs, clunky debugging. And which specific tool or configuration from the episode could I experiment with today to smooth that out? Looking at my current setup, which parts are handcrafted snowflakes and which are reproducible? .files repo, scripts, environment files. And what's one piece I can turn into a repeatable setup this week so I'm less afraid of changing machines or breaking things? This was OwlUp, your daily step forward. To keep learning with structured courses and more insights, go to owlup.co. Until tomorrow!